Cool. You want to talk about Alderaan or
Uh,
Adelgron? Sorry,
yeah, I was thinking Adelgron, yeah.
Adelgron Drifter.
I was just saying as a side note, the name, I mean, I played around with I did a little research, played around with the name generator. Apparently the Rangers usually take the name of a pre-existing elf, so it's like Elvish. And Adel means something along the lines of to like release or set loose. So kind of
Huh,
the idea of being like a free spirit. And Gron just has to do with it indicates that it's a male name.
cool.
Um, I also learned I was originally going to do some play on like Aragorn or something because I mean that's what
Yeah,
everyone's. He's got kind of going to be like the foil to that in some way, but that would be a no-no because that's kind of like royalty has like the era like prefix, so like
right.
Aragorn, Aragorn, like etc.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I dig that. That's cool. So you mentioned that there's like a root of like some free spirit thing there. Um, so are the names chosen or given?
For the Dunedain,
Yep.
I don't remember. I
Okay,
think
fair enough.
yeah, I don't remember it saying anything too weird about that. Um, Trying to look at the okay, this wiki thing is not where I saw that. There was like a name
Oh,
Lord of the Rings name generator. I'm terrible at names, so I think it was this one. No, that's not. That's for druids or something. Okay, well, I mean, I can look at it more if
okay. No,
or if I can, if you want me to find that later.
that's fine. I was mostly just wanted to see about inspiration for the name. So yeah, so what kind of thoughts have you had about Drifter?
Basically, at some point, he left the Rangers because, I mean, that could be kind of the thing I said initially. He left the Rangers or some sort of falling out because he wants to take a more active role. Um, because part of this whole like second fellowship thing is sort of like, wait, why are they sending this group of people like to do this thing? Why is this group of
Uh-huh.
people interested in doing this thing? So it made sense for my character to want to take a more direct approach to things.
Cool.
Looping back to that, like yes, I want to take direct action. We've just been wandering around in the wilderness for decades, or well, actually for hundreds of years, I guess, at this point. Um, so yeah, that was sort of my initial thought there. Um, Another side here that let's see. Oh yeah, under the descriptions of them, it says they were tall, pale-skinned with dark hair, shining gray eyes, and proud faces. So they sound like relatively attractive, but my character has like a very like low like appearance rating. So, so in a way, I think in the back of his head, he's sort of trying like overcompensating for like he also physically feels like he didn't like belong with them, and he's very much trying to hold to that like identity of like oh and like we're the greater race of men, etc. I don't want to go too far down that path because that's
Right.
not fun, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, beyond that I haven't had any like major thoughts. Oh, I was going to ask how how much do say the Rangers know, or how about like who Soren is and what he's doing, like how well known is that among the Rangers? Or regarding the necromancer who
Yeah, that's a good question. That might be a good question to ask in like once we start in game, because then we can do some dice rolls and stuff.
because yeah, I've just sort of assumed that my character either knows about Sauron, which is a little bit of a stretch, or that at least knows about the necromancer, or that there's some sort of evil building up in the east, and that again he wants to more directly get at that.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, after the council, like everyone will know about Sauron. So leading up to basically at the point of game start, everyone will know it at that point.
And yeah, I believe there's some reference in maybe like the appendices of the Lord of the Rings or something. But basically, like, the Rangers were keeping an eye on the Shire for quite some time before the Lord of the Rings happened, so they knew something
Right.
was up.
Yeah.
Um, and also, too, on this like sending the second company, it's kind of it could also make sense to send away people that you like don't want around, like if you were
Ah,
Elrond and Gandalf and whatnot.
yeah.
So
Oh, no, absolutely.
it could be possible that like I was like poking around too much and asking too many questions and kind of like I was being dumb about the like I was giving away stuff that I wasn't supposed
Right.
to, way
Right.
or another. Tipping off the
That's
enemy like that.
that's awesome to get him out of the way.
Yeah, because I mean that.
That's a lot of fun. Yeah. So what about his family and friends? I have you mentioned he was born in Eriador, which is, like 600 miles across.
Mhm.
Um, so what thoughts have you had about like what his childhood was like, what his parents was like? Does he have any siblings? Does he had any, did he have any childhood friends? Does he have any adult friends? Any of those kinds of things.
Mm, I mean, I named off like the region just because the Rangers are a nomadic people, and that's kind of like the only thing I was able to pin down on that. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I know it's like saying that I'm from the southeast or whatever. Um, I haven't had much thought on family or friends.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of what I wanted to do with this time. So we can workshop some stuff.
I mean, do you have particular thoughts, ideas, kind of like what you're.
Yeah, I think that um the closer that he was born to Rivendell, the more uh useful that would be, I'd suppose. Um
How far
yeah.
far away is, I mean, oh wait, Weathertop's on the other side of Rivendell. No, wait, no, it's not. It's,
Weathertop is west of Rivendell. It's in Eriador.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of thought about that, just because it's, well, I mean, because it's a location people will be familiar with, but it also kind of
Huh?
underscores the fact that I come from a nomadic people. Because, like, you've seen Weathertop in the movie, like, clearly no one
Right,
lives there. Like, it's not a permanent settlement in any way whatsoever.
right. Cool. I like that. Yeah. So maybe like conceptually he was born at Weathertop, but they were there for like a season or something. It's not where he like grew up slash lived.
Yeah. So yeah, we can go with that.
Um, cool.
And friends structure wise, it might make sense, or friends or acquaintances structure wise, probably makes sense to have one who, like, at least one who's like still sympathetic to me, but it's kind of like it's unfortunate, kind of the path he went down. And
Yeah.
then having a couple that are people who like used to be friends that are like not so much anymore, like the bridges are a little burned kind
Cool.
of
Yeah,
thing.
I love that. That's awesome. That's good stuff.
Maybe inciting incident could be like we were doing some sort of patrol and I wanted to like investigate something that was, I wanted to go off the path essentially. And like we had this certain range we were supposed to stick to, and I wanted to go like outside of that area because I saw something suspicious. I don't know what.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what would be suitably dramatic, but yeah, basically something that like I saw and that I wanted to go, and I don't know, it started some sort of big fight or chain reaction, or could have been something where like I went after the thing and got injured or got alerted the slash alerted the darkness and such to
Uh-huh.
the fact that the Rangers were skulking around there.
Ooh, cool. Yeah. In the Lord of the Rings latest RPG, they call it the Shadow, just like anything related to Sauron. So I really like that. Yeah, there was some kind of shadowy creature or force or something that he wanted to check out, and then that like alerted the shadow, and then whatever that was caused a problem for the Rangers.
Yeah, the shadow thing kind of makes sense too, because it's sort of how
Yeah,
Sauron is talked about at times, in the sense that
right,
like his mere presence and increase in power sort of increases the overall like darkness and evilness, and like, oh, there's like more
right,
orcs now. It's not like Sauron told these orcs to be there. It's just sort of
right,
like there are more of them in this area because
right.
Sauron is doing things.
Yeah, exactly. And also, other fell creatures, spiders and wargs and all those things, kind
Beasts
of beasts, exactly.
guys are
Uh,
everywhere.
cool. That sounds good. I like that. So are his parents alive or dead? Does he still see them on occasion?
I don't know. I've never really had like strong feelings about parents and like as background stuff one way or the other.
Yeah.
So, uh,
I mean, live parents, dead parents is all fodder for the mill. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
I I know some people are very like anti, orphan PCs, and I'm like, no, give me the orphans. I'll figure out what horrible thing killed their parents that they will then want to get vengeance on. That's not a
Parents
problem.
die for the purposes of character creation. Uh, one of my favorite D&D jokes. Yeah, maybe like his mother's dead, his father's alive,
Okay,
or
I like
his
that.
father's unhappy with him.
Does he still see them?
Hmm. Guess it sort of depends on like what I did as to how like welcome I would be.
Right.
Maybe I like stop in on occasion, but it's at the overall ranger populace gets less and less friendly every single time.
Uh-huh.
So maybe like the last time I went, maybe I'm wondering if I can like ever go back there again.
Ah, cool. Great. And then any siblings?
Uh, hmm.
Is he an only child? Did he have a sibling who died young? Do you have siblings that are still around?
Yeah, I feel like the Rangers feel very vague compared to other cultures in Lord of the Rings. So it's kind of like, what would these other people be doing?
Right.
Uh, wearing cloaks and being stealthy. Being that's
Yeah,
kind of what
well, I mean, so my philosophy
all
on that
is.
is that in order to field a fighting force, even if it is nomadic and relatively self-sufficient, you do need like farmers and towns, and like you need a kind of base civilization to support that. So
Yeah,
my conception of the Dunedain is like maybe 20% of them are like properly rangers, like out in the world fighting monsters and keeping things safe, and the rest of them are just like keeping things settled here and having farms and not living a normal pastoral life because their background is very different, but leading a life that's supporting that force.
So yeah, maybe I come from one of those more, that could be like part of my story, that I come more from one of those pastoral families and like they didn't want me being a part of the Rangers in the first place.
Ooh, I like that. That's yes, pathos. That's good.
All the troops. Yes. And the more and more I talk about this, I'm like, yeah, this is why tropes exist. Like, all right, this is just
Right?
this is building itself and it's good.
Yeah.
I have friends and they don't like me as much as anymore. Oh yeah, okay. Like it's just like stuff like that. I'm like, all right.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I just wanted some power converters.
um Cool. Okay, that sounds good. So yeah, I think I kind of like the idea of him having like a brother that stayed, especially like a brother that stayed home and then like had to take on maybe some of the responsibilities because he was going off out into the wilds and like maybe is a little bit resentful of that.
Yeah, yeah, like a younger brother.
Yeah.
Could even be like a very younger brother. Well, I mean, people can have very younger brothers anyway. But since I was a since I am a Dunedain, I went ahead and put my age at 75.
Yeah, I saw. That's great.
Like Aragorn, he's like 80 something in the movies.
Right.
So yeah, I could have like a brother who's several decades older than me.
Right.
Several decades younger than me, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be like 30. Well, let's see. I guess it depends on when I joined the Rangers.
Right.
It's sort of weird to ask these questions with cultures that live really long. It's like, wait, when do they like
Yeah.
actually become adults and start doing these things? And what are they like before that?
Yeah, I think especially for the Dunedain, I would argue that their like progression to adulthood is like other humans.
I mean, yeah, that would make sense to me. But yeah, I'm thinking he's at least like 20 years younger or something like that. Although,
Okay.
of course, that doesn't get me out into the Rangers until I'm like in my 20s.
Yeah, but I mean that would almost work well. Like you're 25, your brother's 5 and you like knock off. So he never had a real relationship with you. All he knows is he's grown up, life is a little bit rougher because his older brother isn't around. Mom dies and so it's just him and dad having to take care of the farm um and take care of the rangers who come by and yeah, that I think that works.
Yeah, 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 okay. And whenever I am back, it's like, oh, can I get some food? Like, can I?
Exactly, right. And your buddies come and like crash and like take food and yeah. um okay, does he know any elves personally?
Hmm. For starters, let's see, do I actually have? I don't think I have other languages. Do I know elves?
And has he like been to Rivendell especially and spent any time there?
I mean, I guess it would make sense for him to. I guess the question of why was he invited in the first place should kind of is kind of what I'm thinking about now that you ask
Yeah.
those questions. So yeah, I guess
Well,
him
and
like
he might not have been invited per se, because a lot of the people who ended up in Rivendell weren't invited. They were just going to Rivendell because like to seek Elrond's counsel, basically. And Elrond like kind of corralled them over the course of weeks to months, is like, yes, stick around. Um,
even beyond
so
good.
that, yeah, I mean, it seems entirely plausible to me that he would be like, hey, there's some shit out here. I'm gonna go let Elrond know because my people aren't listening to me or something like that.
Yeah, so I think maybe knowing like an elf kind of on the inside. It's someone just to kind of like at least get me in the door sort of thing.
Right.
Like one of their sort of border slash guard kind of people, or so someone who basically someone who would be like working security in some capacity, like in the
Okay.
sense that, I get to Rivendell, elves show up, and one of them's like, wait, like I know this guy, and we talk for a bit, and you might, and then eventually I was like, okay, well, all right, like I believe you enough. Don't go embarrass me. Like it's I had nothing to do with it, kind of thing.
Cool. That sounds good. Um, yeah. Um, and then what kinds of motivations does he have? I know you mentioned, you know, he wants to take a more active role in protecting people and fighting the shadow and whatnot. Um, does he have is he I mean he's 75, so dude should have figured some shit out about his life by now. Um, like what is he just like is he a like a fanatic? Is he like a single-minded, like, I don't care what anyone says, I'm going to do what I think the right thing is, and that's the only thing that matters to me? Because you haven't mentioned anything about any romantic relationships. Like, I guess he doesn't have a wife or any family of his own, so he seems like uh kind of a dick in some ways.
Uh, yeah, I guess. Huh.
Yeah, I mean his persuasion's terrible, so and his appearance is terrible. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can kind of imagine him as just being like super single-minded and like, I'm right, you're all wrong, I'm gonna do it this way.
That definitely was. I mean, I'm thinking about it as like, he definitely wants to be proven right, and like that's kind
Uh-huh.
of part of the whole. He's trying to like, in consciously or unconsciously, he's trying to like prove that he like does belong and that he's right about these things, and we need to do something about this. Huh.
Cool. But yeah, like thinking about motivations, does he have any other motivations, any other ways that he kind of occupies his time, that kind of thing?
Mm, yeah, so far I'm just kind of imagining him as like like living it up kind of as a hermit sort of
Okay.
in the Bree area.
Yeah. No, I dig that. I like that. Cool.
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
didn't take any hobbies or interests yet, character
Okay.
wise. Because the one that like naturally comes to me, but it's really a skill and it seems like a very valuable one in Lord of the Rings would be like history or something. Like, oh yeah, like I study history, but that's just like it's like I don't know,
No,
it's
I think that sounds good. I mean, I didn't put it on the skill list, not because it's not important in the world, but that it's not going to be super like, as far as a mechanic goes for within the game, I don't think that it's really going to like swing things one way or the other, but I think it would be fun to have and interesting to use. So yeah, 100% you could do history, or I would suggest like some, subspecialty thereof, like the history
I
of
was
Eriador, or the history of the Dunedain, or something like that.
I was actually thinking I forgot that I had thought about it a little more and was thinking about folklore. Because I think that
Oh,
becomes more closer to a hobby, and also the information is both more varied, and you kind of like parse it out more, and also it's less obviously useful. Like it can produce useful information, but
right,
there might be some inaccuracies in there, or you need to
right.
like sort through it a little bit, like that. That seems
Yeah,
closer to a hobby that is
cool.
also covers the same sort of niche. So yeah, I think I'll go with that.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, and I
And,
mean
and
you could, yeah, go ahead.
I was also thinking of doing a whittling just because it's kind of funny.
Of course. Yeah, you got to do whittling. I mean, come on.
Uh,
Cool. Okay, I think that gives me a lot to go on. Um, does he have any family heirlooms? Because thinking about the Dunedain and their history and traditions and that sort of thing, it would not surprise me if a lot of them have even tiny objects that we wouldn't really think about. But when you pass it down for 2,000 years, it becomes a serious relic. Anything like that you think you would have?
Hmm. How about like a seal, like just like a stamp sort of thing,
Okay,
or well,
cool.
not the not an ink stamp, I guess. That's probably a little too modern, like the wax ones, like the metal
Yeah,
sort of thing. I don't know who, but maybe that will come to me later.
yeah. Um, cool. I love that. Okay, awesome. I think that gives me what I need. Anything else from you?
I think I'll ponder a little bit more what he's been
Yeah,
doing for several decades.
cool.
Um, because yeah, and I don't know, maybe he has some sort of relationship trade built up more with Bree or something. How long do you think it would make sense for him to have parted ways with the Rangers? 'Cause I'm not sure what sort of timeline you're running on for things. 5 years,
Yeah.
10
Yeah, I
years.
think relatively recently, like 5 to 10 years would make the most sense.
All right, I'm thinking maybe like five or so then.
Okay, cool.
So I think it's kind of enough to where if you like uproot completely, you're at a point where you've kind of like established sort of like what you're doing, but maybe not
Right.
entirely what you ultimately want to do.
Yeah,
You don't if you start off not knowing what you want to do.
right.
And yeah. Oh, do you have like written notes you're taking or
Yep.
yeah, do you mind just sending me those to me?
Yeah, I'll definitely send those to you.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yep.
I'll probably remember most of that stuff, but
No, that's fine. It's easier to see it in note form. I'll email it to you right now.
awesome. Thank you.
Cool. All right,
Well,
great. Thanks, Daniel. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday.
oh yes, cool.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining. I don't think that we've communicated at all about your character yet.
Nope. I wanted to ask you, I gather the rest of the party is like dwarves and humans and elves. Is it cohesive with your vision for this thing to have a hobbit?
Yeah, that'd be totally fine.
Okay, I wasn't sure if like the hobbits worked in the other story and this party is different, which is they don't have hobbits. You know what I mean?
I do. No, I think that works totally fine. And arguably would be of value. Like they would include a hobbit on this as part of misdirection.
Yeah, that was so. My intention is to play a hobbit astronomer.
Oh, cool.
I figured listening to what everybody else is bringing to the table, I don't think we have anybody who could overland navigate. And I don't think an astronomer would actually be that great at it, but I think that you could trick the party into thinking that an astronomer could do this job for them.
Right. Awesome.
Um, and then after that, I figured it would be a pretty straightforward athletics halfling build. So he's going to be smart and dexterous. He's going to throw rocks and be good at science. I was curious how important is power, appearance, and size, and is there a minimum value for stats?
That is a good question. So power is I can't remember if I sent you the video for our session zero, how much I've told you, but I think each of the characters will have up to 3 bespoke powers that they have, and these things will be like they'll function like spells without being magical, right? So it's like Boromir being able to be pierced by a bunch of arrows, like that would manifest mechanically as a power sort of
Ah,
thing.
okay.
Um Legolas being able to see really far, that would manifest as a power. So anything beyond the bounds of like the normal rules set and normal character abilities would manifest as a power. So that will be fueled by your power score.
And then
And then
size, I feel like
size.
my character is going to be distinctly small, but I don't know what value is appropriate to indicate that.
Oh, that's a good question.
Because on the one hand, I could say, well, my size is 0 because everybody's bigger than me, and I lose anything size related. But on the other hand,
Right.
I feel there are characters which are smaller than a hobbit.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what the book says. Size is relevant for your movement. Is that right? No, for your it interacts with your movement and somewhat more importantly your hit points
Uh-huh.
and your combat values like your damage bonus. So it wouldn't be good to sync it entirely, but the examples from the book: a baby is size 1, a child is size 15, the average human is size 65.
Oh, good. That is super helpful.
Yeah. So I think somewhere between a 10 and 20 would be a reasonable size.
Yep. We'll go with 15 on him.
Yep.
I've left myself some extra points here so we can make adjustments.
Cool.
In past games, you have ruled that characters who have no ranks in skills or knowledge areas have, I mean, vanishingly low familiarity with these things. But I see in this rule set, there's like a default skill base. So
Correct.
is it still worth it to put like 1 point in like a dozen skills, or are you assumed to have moderate proficiency based on ability?
You are assumed to have moderate proficiency based on ability, except in those skills that do not have an assumed default. So those are medicine, read lips, some
Science,
others.
anything
Yep.
with an asterisk, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, makes sense. So I guess my only other question is what kind of game do we anticipate this being? I gather it is not a comedy game. Is it a Cthulhu game or is it a more of an adventure game?
That is a good question. I think that like all of my games, there is a comedic element insofar as like that's where I find my fun. But I'm not gonna set up NPCs and scenarios that are as sort of ridiculous that facilitate that as I do in some of the other games. Like I'm trying to play this as straight to Lord of the Rings as possible, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to maintain that tone sort of throughout. So I'm kind of thinking of it as as a grand adventure, I suppose. And I think that the tone setting out is going to be very like optimistic, and we're totally gonna kick ass.
That is good.
And in terms of and in terms of the gameplay, I think that there'll be hopefully some role playing between the PCs. There'll be some, travel, and I'm still struggling a little bit with how to make that dramatic and interesting.
Yeah, you just get great music and then lots of long shots.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And certainly some combat. So I think that my original pitch was like a lot of exploration, some RP, some combat.
Okay. I was thinking that my character, I want some kind of tie-in to Dark Tower for my character because I'm pretty sure that Kent's going to also do this thing.
Yep.
I was thinking maybe I would have a pet dog, a black dog named Ka, since we're all going to get murdered anyway. And this was like a bad luck portent in one of the early books.
Yeah. What's the name of the dog?
Well, I'm gonna name him Ka.
Ka.
Like
Oh,
the
cool. Okay, awesome. Love it.
black dog Ka is supposed to be a bad thing.
Yes,
But
yes, yes, that's right.
I think I need to know more about how animal handling works as a skill with regards to domesticated animals, because I see it's power related, and I wasn't planning to invest heavily in power. But I could change that. I don't have any like I'm not well anchored on attribute points.
Yeah, that is a good question. I don't think I think maybe one other person is putting some points in animal handling. Um Command and train domesticated animals to perform simple tasks.
No, so I may need to go heavy in on that then, huh?
Regular difficulty, getting a trained dog to sit, fetch, or attack on command. Hard difficulty, getting an untrained or unfamiliar dog to perform a task on command.
I want to be able to pretty reliably do this with a trained animal. Maybe I just shuffle some stuff around.
Yeah. It
That'll
might
be
be it might be worthwhile to spec it out as that being one of your like powers
Yep, I see that.
and having it like more specifically apply to that single animal, because basically the more specialized that the skill is, the easier anything is that it gets. So I think, I would say if you wanted that to be one of your powers, you could spend like a magic point, no roll necessary, get him to do like tricks that he knows, sort of thing, and then
Yep.
roll if you want him to do something, like get into a fight or protect someone or drag this person 20 feet that way by grabbing onto their collar. That's probably the most efficient way points wise to do that.
Do you think and what are the costs and benefits of specializing? Because I'll just specialize animal handling in Ka.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that would work. So the effect of specializing is that things that start off at a hard difficulty would get to be at a regular difficulty, or if it was an extreme difficulty, it would be a hard difficulty. So for relatively routine things, it's not really that much of an advantage.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, this is useful to me.
Awesome.
And then I guess another interesting aspect of my character, hopefully, that will be useful. I think he's going on this adventure because he's got some kind of crazy crackpot theory about stars or the sky, and we'll have to coordinate on what that is so that it fits with your world.
100%. Yeah, stars. Yeah, stars and prophecy and all of that is super thematic on theme.
I just don't know what his specific theory will be because it's going to be unpopular and terrible and maybe also true, but it's going to be weird enough and bad enough that it's gotten him ostracized from his community, which is why he's willing to go on this trip.
Okay, I love that.
But he wants to present the idea that he's going on this trip because he is the greatest and the best, when in reality maybe his community is kind of glad that he's going.
Awesome, cool. That sounds great. So yeah, what have his sort of communal ties been where he's been living?
I mean, he is a hobbit, so everybody is like a little bit farmer, a little bit animal husbandry person / gets drunk and eats a lot of food.
Okay.
I think to be reincarnated as a hobbit would not be so terrible a thing. And then in his downtime, he's built himself a little observatory out of his barn house and has become somewhat renowned in the community of astronomy because his research and observations are very good. The conclusions that he's drawn from them are unsettling to his community, and so he's become to be regarded as kind of a crackpot.
Cool. That's great. Does he have any I think it would be nice for him to have some correspondences with like an elf in Rivendell or a dwarf from Erebor, or like have some kind of like people that he writes letters to, sort of correspondence. What do you think of that?
It makes more sense to me for elves to care about this thing than dwarves because like access. But
Yeah.
maybe he has a more sympathetic dwarf because the dwarf is probably also a little bit isolated.
Ooh.
And he probably also trades letters with elves who probably don't like him that much, but begrudgingly make use of some of his observations and research.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that works pretty well for me. In terms of gear, how would you feel about like a portable mini, astronomy setup or something that he like it's not easy to set up, but he like is packing and he like put something together if he had a day.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, for sure he'll have like a good telescope with him, and then
Right.
probably a really elaborate, maybe not heavy, but like certainly finicky tripod setup that he could get like really leveled out and balanced and set up.
Yep. That is very cool. Any romantic relationships in his past or currently?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's probably been forsaken by like someone who got mad at him for being like way too into stargazing and like I don't know what his food is going to be. Maybe he like pickles turnips or something. Like he's probably got weird habits too because he's a little bit old and has been living alone for a while.
Okay.
I don't know where she would
Does
be or what she would be up to though.
okay, that's cool.
Probably she is like a very average, healthy, well-adjusted, but kind of boring hobbit person.
Right.
Because if she were like weird or interesting, she could probably hang with this guy, but like she does not want that. She wants something run of the
Yeah, right. That makes sense. Um, do you think he has or has had an apprentice? Or some like, kid that sees what he's doing is like, this is cool, and tags after the crackpot astronomer.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide how you would feel about that. I'm sure that's happened because hobbits are curious.
Yep.
I don't know. I could see him being either like okay with that as long as they don't mess up his stuff, but I could also see him getting really unhappy if they like upset the orientation of his telescope and prevented him from making a calculation.
Yep.
Maybe there was one like he has a lot of kids who make trouble around his house, and that's why he
Okay.
initially got his dog because he wanted to run the kids off. But that didn't
Ah.
work. The dog liked kids, so he just had to do it himself anyway. But then he had one or two kids that were like not terrible and did not destroy his experiments.
That's cool.
Maybe he even employed a couple of those kids around the place to like clean up and do some rudimentary tasks for him that were kind of boring.
Cool.
Probably their parents did not appreciate this because they wanted them to be doing more useful things like farming. Do I need to buy the dog?
No.
Okay. And I didn't see any kind of rules for equipment generation, so just keep it consistent
Yes.
with the character.
Yeah,
This guy's about
exactly.
to be
Just
not really well equipped.
yeah, just be reasonable and like any, relic sorts of things we kind of talk about in this session, but I think that that's his telescope setup. Cool. I mean, I think I'm getting a pretty good handle on what this character is like, and I think there's some good hooks for the adventure built in there. Um so his motivation is to um prove his crackpot theory, or convince other or tell other people about it, or convince them that his theory is, or like what's he going further on this adventure, like beyond Rivendell basically?
Let's go Mason Dixon with it. Let's say that he needs to make some kind of observation at a point between where he's leaving from and going to, and this expedition is a convenient way for him to secure funding to do that.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Maybe maybe it's even closer to there than not there. So it's probably not the
Right.
halfway point. But otherwise, he'd get there and be like, "Cool story, I'm out."
Right.
Yeah, he's going to need their help to get back to.
Oh, sure. Okay, cool.
He probably doesn't even like really believe in all this stuff about Sauron being the Dark Lord or whatever. Like,
Yep.
he's some evil general and he's doing whatever he's going to do. But the stars don't care about that. They're
Right.
going to
Right.
outlive it all anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, war is very bad, but it's not really his problem.
It's not really, yeah, I mean, like classic Hobbit thinking. It's not my problem. I'm just a little Hobbit trying to do my thing. That's awesome. Um, cool. Okay, and then for your like hobby type skills, any thoughts on what those would be?
I mean, he's probably pretty obsessive with the stargazing, but there's going to be a bunch of ancillary stuff that goes along with that.
Right.
And of course, there's going to be like life skills that he's going to need, but which will probably not be relevant on an adventure because he's going to be a turnip farmer or something like that. In addition, to
Cool.
you know, his other hobby of throwing stones, because every hobbit apparently is like a master stone thrower. People have
Right.
this thing. So probably he'll have some ancillary skills in physics that'll support the astronomy thing, plus the rock throwing thing. I don't know. I was
Cool.
going to spend a lot of that on hobbity stuff like farming
Yeah.
and food.
Cool. And then the power things, the three powers, you can also decide those as we go, so they don't need to be figured out at character generation. But do you have any thoughts about what those might be for him?
I hadn't given that any thought. I'm open to
Cool.
suggestions.
I don't think I have anything. Like I said, the only thing I could think of is if you wanted to modify the mechanics for animal handling so that you didn't have to rely on the animal handling skill and dumping a bunch of points into that.
It would be really cool to have some way to increase the combat effectiveness of Ka. Otherwise, I imagine a normal large black dog will get killed pretty quick in this game.
Yeah, that's a really good thought. I mean, I would be cool wrapping that into what we were talking about with like commanding the dog. Like you could spend more magic points to make it, bolster it, make it run faster, stronger, tougher. That's a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, I'm good with that plan.
Cool.
We'll build a lot of his character's combat utility around using his dog as a proxy for himself. And a lot of his social stuff will be based around knowledge, skills.
Right.
And then I guess a lot of his adventuring contribution will be based on navigation and being a nimble halfling.
Awesome.
I think that'll get him at least peripherally involved in the three main kinds of encounters.
Yep.
People and obstacles and fights.
Right.
Although
Yeah, that sounds great.
He's not going to be very good at fighting, I don't think.
Right.
I don't know the system well, but I don't think he would be good at that. Is that going to be a problem for party balance?
Not at all. Nope. Okay. I mean, if he has a reasonably high throw skill, which I expect, that's going to make him combat effective.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't want you to wind up in a situation where you've got like 5 characters who can fight dragons right off the brick, and this guy who will get eaten by a large dog.
No, everyone will be eaten by a large dog.
Clear.
But it's fine because you have Glorfindel, who's one of the greatest elven lords of all of Middle Earth. So you're good.
Is he gonna like betray us and take the one plastic ring or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Good.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of Tolkien's original ideas, was to have Glorfindel lead the company, the Fellowship of the Ring, and then he was like, Glorfindel's too powerful. So like I'll level it down and have Gandalf do it.
Yeah, just I don't know, what is he? He's like a celestial avatar or something like that.
Much exactly. Better. Yep. Cool. Okay, that sounds good, Chris. I'll send you these notes that I've taken, and then if you can work on the mechanics, I'll flesh out some of this stuff and run it by you.
I'll type up stats and skills now that we've talked about this, and send you a sheet with that in the next few days.
That's fantastic. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Awesome. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I know we've talked about your concept a bit, and I think it all sounds good. Do you have a name for him yet?
I did, and I'm gonna change it because I picked the name like ages ago, forgot what I picked, did everything else with the Boston Spies character, then went back and was like, this name is way too similar to the other character. They both started with a V.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think they both started with VO. So I was like, nope, that's gotta change. Yeah, they both started with a VO. I'm like, yeah, I've got to pick something different for this. So I need a
Definitely.
new name.
Yeah,
But
cool. So what have you got now?
what I have at the moment, I haven't come up with said new name.
Oh, okay.
That just dawned on me when I was doing when I pulled my sheet up for that day. I was like, wait a second. Yeah. So the original name I had, it was Voland, but I'm like, yeah, that's way too close.
Oh, yeah, no way. Ha,
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna get confused.
yep.
So yeah. But I will update that
Cool.
tonight.
Yeah, so where is he from?
Okay, so I wrote down some notes on
Oh, good.
this. Where did it go? Well, maybe I didn't write that down. Okay. I was thinking from somewhere in and around Bree,
Okay.
like over west of Rivendell,
Yeah.
west of Rivendell, east of the Shire. But I just wanted him to be from some sort of like heavily forested area.
Okay.
Because I was thinking like for like a profession, what he does, for a living is like a kind of a woodsman. So he's out in the woods a lot, whether it's cutting down trees or tracking down game or what have you.
Okay, cool. And so what was life like for him growing up?
I imagine like huge family, like
Ha,
enormous family. Like he's like smack in the middle of like 10 kids at least.
oh wow. Okay,
Just like
awesome.
massive family. Like so the oldest are like way older than him, and he's got some younger siblings that are like still basically kids. Just
Cool.
huge family is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So it's always a little hectic.
Yeah.
I imagine like growing up one of that many. It's just crazy around the house. There's always little kids running around.
Yeah.
But,
Uncles, nephews, like adjacent family or just the core family?
I'm thinking like the immediate family is huge, but there's probably like at least somewhere, maybe not all in the same right there where they're at in Bree, but like in not too far away. I imagine there's like connected family.
Okay.
And whatnot.
But not like in
I
the
imagine
same
there's probably like a
household.
well-established, like these are people who have been here a long time. They've kind of lived in
Right.
this area a long time.
Okay. And so did he grow up in Bree then? Like was he a town person?
No, I would say like kind of they live kind of on the outside edge of town. I mean, that
Okay.
many mouths to feed, you can't,
It'd be too
afford
expensive.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't afford too much.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah. So I'm thinking like edge of town.
Okay. Cool. And so yeah, I mean what was life like growing up for him? Like was it pretty cushy, pretty positive? Was it negative? Was there any tragedies that he experienced?
I would say definitely not cushy, but positive.
Okay.
Like I imagine this is one of those like everybody, like all the kids are just like everybody's doing something to help the family, whether it's helping around the house or like getting food or doing repairs or like all the kids are like put to work. So like
right.
Yeah. He's always been doing things and working and such. So it was like busy and doing stuff, but it was like a positive kind of encouraging family life, I would say.
Cool.
As for tragedy, that many people, something bad's bound to happen. So there's, I assume it, whether a sibling or an uncle or something like that, I'm sure there's been some, you know, something tragic has befallen some member of the family. They've been killed in a hunting in like an accident or illness or, you know, something of that nature. I'm sure. I haven't got any
What-
specifics, but
What was, I can't remember if we talked about what his call to action is, like what brought him to Rivendell.
we have not, but I have an idea.
Okay.
Because that's a little ways away from Bree is a little ways away from Rivendell.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
really close.
It's not super close. I imagine he was so the things I was thinking of were like either he was out that way for something or like how long of a journey would that be from Bree to
It's like
Rivendell?
200 miles.
Okay, I was like, that's a long way.
It's a long way.
I'm envisioning like he being like a big strong fellow was tasked with escorting some extended
Oh,
family
cool.
in that direction for some purpose or other. So he was along to help.
Okay.
And I think that's probably what got him headed that direction. Whether they meant to go all the way to Rivendell or they were going somewhere closer, something
Okay.
in that they needed to head that direction.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I was kind of kicking around the idea of like maybe something happened along the way, something regarding like the larger picture, like whether it was like spotted something like on the like way out there side, maybe something like crazy, like a ring raid, like the Nazgul, like spotted something like that, like off a ways out, and was like, we got to get somewhere bigger, safer, continue on to the
okay.
larger settlement of Rivendell, something like that. Whether it was orcs gathering or Nazgul or something.
Okay.
That also was kind of my idea of like him seeing like a bigger issue than just his small town life that
Right.
he needs to get involved. Like he feels like he ought to get involved in.
Okay, cool. What about if the group that he was traveling with / escorting actually got attacked and subsequently
Yeah.
I don't know if like all of them died except for him and he's like, oh shit, I gotta get to Rivendell and figure out what's going on, or maybe they got attacked and fought them off and then they're like, you know, you got to go to Rivendell and let them know we're gonna like hunker down here. Or...
I'm thinking probably most of them, they got attacked. Most of them didn't make it. Maybe it's him and like one of his like way younger siblings.
Oh, cool.
That he managed to rescue, that the like youngest sibling that was along. Maybe they were the one he was escorting. Maybe they were just there. Maybe they were just there because they wanted to come along and just got accidentally wrapped up in a really bad situation.
I
But
love that. That's
I think
cool.
he like managed to get that one really young sibling safely to Rivendell, and like this is the safest place. This is the biggest fortification, you know, the biggest settlement out this direction.
Cool. That is fantastic.
And that could also tie into, you know, tragedy in the family.
Yeah, definitely.
And personal tragedy.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. Any so is he on his own or is he still living at home?
I think he's like, let's see. I think he's on his own in the sense that he's like often like out in the woods. He doesn't have his own like settlement, like dwelling. He like, if he's in town or around town, he'll stay back at family home, but he's often like out in the woods doing stuff.
Cool.
And he'd gone for, you know, a week, come back for a couple days. So he's pseudo on his own, but he doesn't have his own like house or anything like that.
Okay. So being kind of out in the woods, do you think he would have run into or even his nose or his friends with some of the Dunedain, the Rangers?
That could be entirely plausible. Yeah.
Okay. because that actually would be a good tie-in.
Yeah, because it isn't someone else was thinking of doing
Yep. Yeah,
Dunidyne,
Daniel's
yeah.
Dunidyne.
Daniel's doing that.
Um,
Yeah, that would totally be plausible.
Cool. And then yeah, what is his like social interactions like? Like he's obviously very close with his family and sees them a lot. Does he also have friends that he knows? Like has
Yeah,
he
I think this is definitely someone who's got like a large circle of friends.
okay, okay.
He's a very social person.
Cool.
This is this character is like the inverse of my Boston Spies character.
Yeah,
He is like all strength and charisma essentially,
right,
and no brains or dex.
right.
So yeah, the did
Cool.
I send, I forget if I sent you a character sheet for that.
I don't think I have it.
character. Okay, I've got it written out here. Let me pull it up. Yeah, his stats were like 90 strength, 70 con, 30 dex, 10 int, 80 size, 90 pow, 80 appearance, 10
Jesus.
education. So the high stats are like strength 90, pow 90, appearance and size 80. Con
That's
70.
awesome.
And then
That's
just
great.
dumped the other
Yep.
three.
That's such a good role-playing strategy, you know.
Yeah, so he's got some distinct weaknesses.
Cool.
Especially considering how many things rely on int and education.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah,
Um,
I think for like as far as like and specifically with certain skills, like I took nothing in intimidate, even though he's like a big dude.
right.
He's like a big teddy bear.
Yeah, he's nice, right.
He's so he's got like a 16 intimidate because I didn't take anything in it, but persuasion, he's got like a 75 persuasion,
Right.
and like a what was the like a 60 insight. So he's a people person.
Right. So that being the case, do you think he would have met any like elves or dwarves that were traveling or trading between like Erebor and Rivendell and even the Wood Elves sorts of things, like as they're coming through Bree?
Probably, yeah. Anybody that he could reasonably encounter, I would say he
Yeah.
would probably try to meet and befriend as many
Okay.
people as he could.
Cool. Are there any family legacies? You know, because
Ooh.
obviously lineage is really important in Middle Earth. Any like old family stories or any heirlooms or anything along those lines that you think are in place?
Ooh, that's a really good idea. I have not thought about that.
Is there a crazy uncle? Something like that?
Yeah, I'd say there's probably a crazy uncle in there. Let's see. Trying to think of like I'd say for a family heirloom, it's he probably has like, I'm trying to think what would even be, what would be the sort of thing that would be passed down that would be considered important. I'm thinking it's probably something that's like a practical, not like not like a piece of jewelry or something, but something that's like practical, but just like really well made, like an unusually well made, like hunting knife or something of that nature.
Right.
Like something
or
like,
I mean, it could be an axe even, right? If he's a woodsman.
I would love that actually, because so I picked for his fighting axes. Because I imagine like woodsman, that's what he's going to be accustomed to. So like he actually has like a really high score in axes specifically for fighting. So yeah, an axe, like a heirloom family axe totally would be in line with that.
That's awesome. And maybe there are some stories about it, which may or may not be true, right? Maybe like they say it was crafted by dwarves or, you know, something like that.
Yeah, Whatever you want to add in for like crazy family legacy rumors or speculations on
Yeah.
what this axe could do or mean or anything, I'm all for it.
Cool.
By the way, I just looked at the sheet. He has an 80 in axes. He's fighting
Jesus.
with axes. I was like, this is the game where we're like, it's very plausible we'll get in fights,
Yeah.
unlike the bots and spies. So I'm
Yep.
like, this is the guy for that.
Right. No kidding. Damn.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I think, yeah, I'm getting a pretty good picture of this character. You know, he's big family, friendly, talks to everyone, knows everyone. Now, my question there is, having such a low intelligence, does he remember the people that he met? Like, if he meets them again?
That that's a good question. I think if it's people who are like legitimately important to him, definitely remember, even like a large circle. Anyone
Okay.
that's like more acquaintancy, flip a coin. Maybe he
Right.
remembers them. Maybe he's just as friendly as if he did remember them, but he actually doesn't. I think the people who he doesn't remember don't necessarily immediately realize that he doesn't remember them because he's so
Right.
friendly to them
Yeah.
just off the cuff. They're like,
Yep.
it's not until they realize that he's asking things he's already asked them before or asking for their name when they definitely already met him before. It's stuff like that. They're like,
Yeah.
wait, do you not remember?
Right, yeah.
But yeah,
And I
I'd
like to
say
imagine even
chance whether he
then,
remembers him.
even then, they're like, oh, you goof, you know, that like
Yeah,
they
totally.
know, everyone knows he's not that bright. So it's like, oh yeah, like, okay, it's not surprising that you don't remember me, but that's fine, you know.
Right. Also, let me send you the picture I have for him. Again, this is the old name
Oh.
that is, but this is the picture I have for the guy. It's, yeah.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
Awesome.
big old beard, big
Uh-huh.
long, you know, like probably hair pulled back in like a pseudo ponytail for part of it. But yeah, just like big, handsome dude, but just, yeah,
Right.
not the brightest.
Cool. Okay, is there anything else? Okay, so his motivation overall, like in life, what's his motivation? Does he have a motivation, or is he pretty much just like, yeah, I'm doing my thing, keep my family happy, you know, keep myself fed, you know, I don't, he doesn't
Honestly,
strike me as
he's
very
a pretty
ambitious.
simple man. He's a pretty
Yeah.
simple dude. I
Okay.
think that's like living a good life with good food with good just food on the table and family and friends around him. That's his ideal in life. He's not a complicated dude. Now,
Cool.
if things are like threatening that the
Right.
possibility of that being real, then yeah, he's gonna go try and deal with it. But like ideally, he could just kick back, do his thing out in the woods, and enjoy his time with friends and family. He'd be a happy dude.
Cool. So what do you think is motivating him? So he figured out how he got to Rivendell, and now what's motivating him joining this group? Is it because of the tragedy that his family had on the road out here, and he's like, I don't want this to happen to anyone again? Or
I think that's a big part of it. Also, like, again, to go with his trying to sort of playing into the lower intelligence in the sense of like he lives in the present.
Right. Yep, that makes sense.
If you know, like, so that's like that just happened. This is what we got to deal with. This is like front of mind.
Yep.
So he doesn't have like long forecasting future plans.
Yeah.
Since that's the thing, that is the thing that like just happened.
Right. That's foremost.
That's where he's at.
Cool.
That's where he's at right now in life.
Okay.
Because yeah, he lives in the present.
Awesome. Okay, great. I think that gives you some good material. I better just wrap up because Megan's probably on. Thanks for hopping on, and I'll send you these notes, and then I'll work on fleshing it out.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Right.
Thanks.
See ya.
Cool. Well, yeah. So thanks for getting me the character sheet. This looks great.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it all makes a lot of sense with the skills, etc. And You got your miscellaneous skills, which is cool. So yeah, and then pronunciation, Melrayan.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I can kind of piece some things together, but tell me a little bit about, what your vision is for her, how she grew up and those kinds of things.
So my vision was that she's a twin,
Okay.
and she's the older twin, but she's the like shy wallflower of the twin.
Yep.
Because the other one is the other one is more like my real person, like outgoing and there, versus the more shy wallflower.
Uh-huh.
But tended to hang out with the grandparents more so than like the actual parents, just because like old people were like quieter and it just made more sense. And then I feel like that would play into the grandpa helped me like do the engineer stuff, which is what I wanted to like my skills with like the gadgets and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. And also gave myself a lot of points kind of for like reading people
Uh-huh.
essentially, because wanted to say that my grandma was like in politics and therefore kind of taught me how to like look at relationships between people and like how to read
Okay.
them a little bit. So like I watch from the sidelines and can interpret relationships and like see what people are going to do, but I
Okay.
don't necessarily interact with the people very well.
Okay.
And then so the goals for her for volunteering to go on this adventure would be to like try and like get away from the twin sister and like be her own person rather than always standing in her sister's shadow.
Sure. Cool.
And then with some of one of the traits that I decided would be fun would be to be a little bit of a klepto.
Okay. Cool.
So to like constantly be like collecting things or stealing things that I think might be fun to like make gadgets with, or cool toys, or just shiny things.
Yep.
Because likes to make jewelry and stuff like that. And
Uh-huh.
then has an interest in like a tarot deck, and like for the ideology and beliefs, like believes in like astrology and things like that.
That is cool. That's amazing. That just a note on the klepto. I haven't had the experience since I was in high school, but it has led to significant inter-party conflict in my experience. So
So I'll keep that down to a minimum, but it won't be like a major problem, but it'll
Right.
be a feature.
Cool. Yeah, especially if it's played for laughs.
Yeah.
That's the best use.
Oh,
Okay,
and
what's her relationship like with her sister?
I think it's gonna be nice, but ultimately a little bit jealous.
Okay.
So like it's not like they get along,
Uh-huh.
but it's not like they're like best of friends or buddy.
Okay. And yeah, what does Silvo think of her?
I think again, like friends, but not like it's more like, oh, that's cute versus like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's okay. That's awesome. I like that. And then yeah, you mentioned her not too much of a relationship with her parents, which I think that can work in easily. Not like estranged from them, but just like not connected
Right.
with them.
Just
Okay.
it's just like they like, you know how like some people are like they're more like my
Yes.
twin, so they just do things and that's how they kind of roll, whereas I'm more like my grandparents who are maybe a little more introverted and like
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, that sounds good. And then any friends
Oh,
or friend groups or anything like that?
I didn't think about that, but let's say that there's like maybe some people that go like hiking in the mountains.
Okay.
Maybe some of like the hermits that are in the mountains and like any stray travelers that might want to go hike in the mountains because I'm gonna that's gonna be where I'm most comfortable because that's where I find peace or where the
Okay.
character finds peace is just to kind of go out and be in the mountains.
Cool. I see that she speaks Dwarvish, so she probably has some kind of relationship with a dwarf.
Let's say that there's a dwarf hermit near the in the mountains near the thing.
Okay, cool.
So I can
And I'll send you all these notes, and then my process is like I'll add some names to all of this stuff and add a
Okay.
little bit more detail, and then send it to you for sort of approval, review,
Okay.
etc.
And my thought is that since I like to do like jewelry making and some of the other like fine tooled stuff, that's more of a dwarvish skill. So it'd be that would be someone that could have helped teach me that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Besides my
Cool.
grandpa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's neat. How so I was looking this up just the other night for Tolkien elves. I think that they reach maturity at like 100 years of age.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about that. So then I wanted to be so like if maturity is at 100 years of age, then I want to be like maybe like 120,
Okay.
maybe like 125 because I want to be like I want to be past maturity but not like
Not fully
like still
adult.
like yeah. So
Okay.
let's say like 125 instead of 25.
Cool. So does she in fact, because there's certainly a dramatic need for engineers in Rivendell. I mean, all the waterworks alone requires, massive calculations and like this, force and all that kind of stuff. So is she useful to the community? Like, is she, basically working as an engineer, or is it
Oh.
that's sort of idle time for her?
No, I wanted that to be her job.
Okay, cool.
So, but when we were talking before, I wasn't like I know there are different types of engineers.
Yeah.
So I think like a mechanical engineer is going to be
Okay, got it.
more of like mechanic stuff and like
Yeah.
gadgets and things like that.
Okay. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Okay, and then we've talked about her motivation. Any tragedy in her past or in her life?
No, I'm gonna go with she's had it pretty easy.
Okay.
She's had nice grandparents, she's had a sister. It's just she just has never been able to like really shine because she got outshone by her sister.
Right.
Yeah. So like average middle class, like her grandma is actually like I wanted her to be in government, so she actually has a little bit of pull. And so she has some exposure to like some of the like higher up figures, and so is more solitary but knows how to like work in a higher class crowd kind of thing.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. That is also useful. Do you think the Dunedain, the Rangers that kind of patrol around, they're human? Do you think that she would know any of them? Because they're also kind of solitary people.
Yeah, I think that sounds like the kind of hiker solitary people that she would jive with,
interact with. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. And then any like family heirlooms? I know she got some like engineering gear, probably tools and whatnot from her granddad. But any other sort of legacy kind of things that she would have on her or want to bring with her?
So I put the tarot deck as like a thing. But
okay, that's pretty cool.
So that can be passed down, and then like a toolkit. Yep, from the grandpa was another thing, and like can I have like a magical bag where I can put more stuff in it than it seems like it can hold, like a Mary Poppins bag? Is that a thing?
I think that probably exceeds the magic in Tolkien's world,
Okay.
because most of the magic is very subtle, and that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. So that, yeah.
I- But I think what I would be comfortable saying is that, she's able to like fold things very efficiently. And so could make some space, but it wouldn't be like putting a baseball bat in a tiny
Right.
little pouch
Yes.
type thing.
Okay. Then let's see what other kind of heirloom thing might be fun. I don't know. I don't have any good thoughts on that. I didn't think of anything like that.
Okay, no, that's fine. It's not essential. I just trying to ask everyone, similar sorts of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a pretty good concept, and I think I've got a pretty clear idea, of who she is, which is very useful and cool.
Yes, and I added the impersonation because I thought that would be fun for entertainment value, as well as like, since she's so observant of people, being able to mimic them, I thought would be cool.
Okay.
Not that
Cool.
I'm going to be very effective in that in
Right,
the actual gameplay, because I am not a good impersonator, but at least we can pretend.
Cool. I
Yeah.
think it must have run off the page, or it's not formatting, so I
Oh.
can't see where that is.
Oh, I think I put it in traits like
The
shy
traits,
around
yeah, I
strangers,
can't.
entertaining for comrades,
Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
impersonations, making gadgets, and sleight of hand tricks.
Okay.
So like doing kind of the silly like pulling a coin out from behind somebody's ear, that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay.
Because that takes like practice on your own to just do, but can be once you get to know, would be fun to like entertain someone.
Right. Cool. I also have a little bit of a sense that she's not exactly sheltered, because she does get out and meet people from the wide world, but having not had anything bad happen and then going on this adventure, I'm kind of thinking like, when, because surely something will, bad does happen, that is at least going to provide like a fulcrum point potentially, and like who knows which way she'll go.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the goal is to give her somewhere where she can grow to like handle these situations on her own without having to depend on
Cool. Okay.
other people.
That's awesome. And then have you given any thought to any powers that you want to have?
No.
Okay. That's fine. We can add them. We can add them during the game.
Great. Yeah. I figured
Yeah.
that'd be a yeah. I did not, because I didn't think, do elves have powers? I didn't think that was a thing in the Tolkien world. Maybe.
Yeah, so for the game, I'm having everyone do like 3 powers, but it's not going to be like magic, but like, how Boromir gets shot by like all these arrows, like mechanically, that's going to be representative by him having, some, toughness kind of thing, or etc. So anything that goes beyond the confines of the rules that you want to be able to do that's a little bit outlandish would manifest that way.
Okay, I will probably pick that as we go, as I want to do something.
Yep, that makes perfect sense. Cool. And then with the gadgets and the mechanical engineering stuff, again, the technological level is pretty low in Tolkien world. So I'm imagining, some simple like wind up sorts of things, and even that would be kind of a marvel for most people.
Yeah.
They don't have like steam power or anything along that lines.
Yeah. But I think like being efficient and like making shelters and like
totally. Yeah.
stuff,
very,
like all that kind of stuff is very
100%. Yeah.
anything like building or like
gotta get across this
to
river.
attach something to the horse saddle that we don't, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, cool. Thanks. I'll send out these notes in a little bit, and then I'll put together some names and kind of summarize things in a little bit different format, and then send that to you as well.
All right.
Yay.
That's good.
All right. I've got to do my thing. Thanks, Megan.
All right. Bye, Eric. I'll talk to you soon.